Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Claudia and I'm gonna be guiding you through this sequence for hips. I want us to work on mobilizing and moving the hips and releasing any tension. The body often collects tension from stress into the hips, and I want us to work on getting rid of some of that. Let's come down to the back, place the feet together and allow the knees to fall out to the side of the floor. Place the right palm onto the lower belly and left palm comes above the head. Starting to take breaths in through the nose and out through the nose, slow, filling up the belly with air. It's raining today, so that's really nice and soothing. Now as you let your breath flow slowly in and out through the nose, I want you to shift your focus onto your hips, onto that inner groin area, noticing any tension, noticing how it's feeling to have this opening in the hips. Becoming aware of the body, of the area that we want to work on today and move. Keeping the breath calm, feeling the ground beneath the spine. As the body is grounding and the mind is becoming more clear, and preparing the body to move through these asanas. Opening up the hips to the sky. Allowing energy to flow all the way from the toes to the fingertips. As the breath deepens into the belly and out. Now on your final 3 breaths here, I want you to inhale all the way down in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Filling up the belly and emptying the belly. And letting the palms come down the sides. Use the palms to gently guide the knees together, taking your time to get to the middle of the mat. Placing down the feet into the floor and letting the knees come all the way to the top. Stretch out the left leg and lift away the right foot. Place down the right knee into the chest. Use the palms to guide down the knee by interlacing the fingertips onto that knee or to the shin. Giving that right knee a nice squeeze down into the armpit. Now as you continue to breathe, I want you to begin to make circles with the knee. So drawing the knee over to the left, down to the top of the mat, over to the right and all the way to the chest. Drawing circles, 2 more rounds. And back to the center. Place the palms out to the sides of the body, stretching out the arms, taking another breath, squeezing in the knee to the chest. And exhale, dropping the knee over to the right. Inhale, center. And exhale, twisting the hip over to the left, knee over to the left. Inhale, center. Down to the right. Inhale, center. And stretching out the right leg. We're going to squeeze that left knee to the chest, interlace the palm onto the knee, onto the chin. And And start to draw those circles with the knee over to the right, squeezing into the chest, down to the left, into the top of the mat, reaching each nook of that hip joint, really taking your time to feel the entire hip moving here for 2 more rounds. And back to center. Now we're gonna stretch out the arms, taking another breath. And exhale, dropping the knee over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twisting over the right. Inhale, center. 3 rounds. Keeping the foot flexed. Bring down the left foot, bend the right knee, place down the palms, and shift the weight of the body into the elbows, lifting the upper body, coming all the way to the center of the mat. Finding the hips to be here at the center, crossing the legs, allowing the knees to fall out to the sides. Again, you're gonna reach up the palms with an inhale. And exhale, bringing the palms here behind you, opening up the chest by squeezing those shoulder blades closer together. We're gonna keep the fingertips pointing here to the back of the mat. And with an inhale, you're gonna squeeze into the glutes, lifting away the hips all the way to the top. And exhale down. 2 more. And coming back down, bring the palms in front of you and roll onto your knees into your tabletop position. Very nice. With an inhale, you're gonna stretch out the right leg, keeping the left toes tucked. And exhale, bringing the right knee over to the right shoulder and down to center. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, right knee, right shoulder, down to center. 1 more. Very good. Let's continue on to the left side. So keeping the right toes tucked, stretching the left. One more. All the way back down. We're gonna tuck both toes, press into the palms, rooting down into the fingers and lifting the hips with an inhale into our downward facing dog. Very good. So walking your dog, bending one knee at a time, getting a stretch on the sides of the hips by allowing your hips to fall over to one side at a time. 2 more breaths. And let us find some stillness here in our downward facing dog. With an inhale, reach up the right foot to the sky. And exhale, bending the knee, flex the foot and begin to make circles with the knee to make your hip circles nice and big circles, keeping that foot flexed to get some momentum. 2 more. Very good. Now stretching up that right leg to the sky with an inhale. And exhale, right knee down to the right wrist. And let the right foot fall over to the left wrist. Right knee down into the floor and stretching out the left leg to allow space to sink into the right hip. If it's a bit hard getting down into the mat, you can use a block to support here on the right glute and the right hip. Staying tall onto the fingertips, keeping the left toes flexed, opening up the chest by pushing the shoulder blades back, gazing a bit up for 2 breaths. And exhale, starting to release, lifting the right hip, coming all the way back here to the top. Now you're gonna take the left leg and bend into the left knee, placing the left knee behind the right knee. We're gonna come into a Gomukhasana. So you can start to sink back into your sitting bones, letting the heels come further down into the hips. Inhale, reaching to the sky. And exhale, beginning to fold the torso over those knees, curling into the upper back for 2 breaths. And exhale, begin to lift away the sitting bones, rolling back into your knees. Tucking the toes, and with an inhale, you're gonna lift the hips back up to the sky with a twisted downward dog. And exhale, placing the feet back into that neutral dog. Very good. Now inhale, stretching the left leg. And exhale, bending the knee, flexing the foot, making circles with the knee, drawing those hip circles. For 2 more breaths. Stretch that left leg to the sky. And exhale, left knee to left elbow, left foot to right wrist, placing down the foot, placing down the left knee, stretching out that right leg, keeping the toes flexed, sinking down into your beautiful swan or pigeon. And you can use the block to support if you needed some extra help today. And coming on tall to those fingertips, open up the chest, push those shoulders back, gazing up for 2 breaths. And exhale, root down the palms, lift away the left hip. Gonna keep those legs crossed. Allow the right knee to come behind the left. Both knees are bent, and we will sink our sitting bones into the ground in our Gomukhasana. Inhale, reaching the palms to the sky. And exhale, hinging from the hips, allowing your chest to be drawn into those thighs or the knees. And you can always stay lifted if that's a better position for you. Taking 2 breaths. And exhale, rolling back onto the knees, allowing space for the legs, tucking the toes, reaching the hips all the way up in your twisted downward dog for 1 breath. And exhale, feet come into a nice neutral position in that downward dog. Very good. You can release the tension from the hips. 1 more time. Now with an inhale, you're gonna lift the left leg back into the sky. And as you exhale, draw the left knee over to the left elbow, place down the left foot over to the left side, and the palms are facing to the top of the mat on that inside of the left foot in your lizard posture. Gonna make sure that the knee is not over the toes, and you're keeping your chest strong and lifted by pushing into the floor for 1 full breath. And as you exhale, let the back foot come to a 90-degree ankle. The left toes are gonna come pointing over to the right, and you're gonna sink down in your Skadasana, palms at heart center for 1 breath. Exhale, begin to shift the weight over to the right side, coming over to the right hip, sinking down in the right hip, keeping the left toe flexed for 1 breath. And as you exhale, let the back foot come parallel to the back of the mat. Let the right foot come to the back of the mat, placing down the left palm. Inhale, reaching up the right palm to the sky. And exhale back into your Skadasana. The right toes are facing the right side of the mat, palms at heart center for one full breath. And exhale, traveling back to the top of the mat, placing down the right palm, reaching up the left with an inhale. And exhale, palms back down to heart center, back foot is flexed, Skadasana. One full breath. Exhale, traveling to the back of the mat. Inhale, reaching up the right palm. Traveling all the way. Let's travel all the way back. Frame the foot with the palms. Step back into your high plank. Lift the hips all the way to the sky. Very good. Now with an inhale, you're going to lift the right leg to the sky. And exhale, bend the knee, push the right heel to the left side, really opening up that hip in your three-legged dog for 2 breaths. Rotate the hip back to the center of the mat, keeping the right knee bent. You're going to place the right ankle onto the left knee on the inside here. Bending the left knee and walking the palms a bit closer to the back of the mat. Pointing the right knee over to the right side for 2 breaths. And you can release down the right foot, stepping into your downward dog. Very good. Now look to the top of the mat and start to take mindful steps all the way to the top of your mat. With an inhale, you're gonna reach all the way to the sky. And exhale, letting go. Now lift away the right foot, place down the right ankle onto the left knee. Take a big inhale, lifting the palms to the sky. And exhale, bending the left knee, placing the palms at heart center, flex the right foot, point the right knee over to the right side, sinking further down for 1 more breath. And exhale, releasing the right foot, taking a big step to the back of the mat, reaching the palms all the way up in that high lunge. And exhale, placing down the palms, framing the left foot, stepping back into the high plank, reaching up the hips to the sky. Inhale, stretching the left leg. Bending that knee, pushing the left heel further over to the right side in that 3-legged dog for 2 breaths. And exhale, rotate the hips back to center. Place the left ankle onto the right knee. Bend the right knee. Walk the palms closer to the back of the mat for 2 breaths. Walk those palms a bit further back. Release down the foot in that downward dog. Look to the top of the mat. Take mindful, slow steps all the way to the sky. Inhale, reaching all the way up, lifting the palms, stretching the body. And exhale, letting go. Lift away the left foot. Bend into that knee. Flex the left foot. Place the left ankle on top of the right knee, reaching up the palms with an inhale. Exhale, starting to bend the right knee, palms at heart center, allowing the left knee to fall over to the left side, keeping that foot flexed for 2 breaths. Exhale, release the left foot, take a big step to the back of the mat, lifting those palms high onto the balls of the feet, reaching all the way with an inhale. Exhale, frame the right foot, come all the way down with the torso, step back into the high plank, lifting those hips. One more breath. And exhale, come down with the knees onto the mat. Beautiful, take another big inhale, untuck the toes. And exhale, start to windshield the hips over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. And inhale to center. And exhale, release. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this flow for hips. I am soon going to be getting a new lens to my camera so that I can get a better full body view. I'm just doing the best I can with what I have, but I hope to see you guys again in my next video. Thank you so much for joining and coming here to share your energy, and I see you guys again soon. Bye!